Okay, so hi. It's nice to kickstart PK and Volume 8. My name is Varun. I work as an IT consultant. Apart from work, I have a lot of interest in various forms of art like drawing, graphic design, animation, and so on and so forth. And over the last 10 to 12 years, I've come to realize that technology and software has played a very significant role in my creative process. So much so that I decided to speak about it here at PKN today. So over the next 6 minutes, I want to show you examples of my artwork. And for each form of art that I showcase, I'll show you the associated tools and programs that I use to make them. Okay, so that you'll get an idea of what they've helped me achieve and why I think everyone should learn them. And mind you, when I'm talking about tools, I'm not referring to Photoshop alone. I know when I mention the word art and software, people think of Photoshop, and in most cases only Photoshop, but I will be covering other tools as well. Okay. So the first art form I want to discuss is photography. So what does software allow a photographer to do that he cannot do in camera? The first thing is obviously touching up your photographs after you've taken them. So here you can see how I restored lost details in the overexposed part of the sky and overexposed parts of the bark of the tree, and I was also able to color correct the image. The second thing it allows you to do is to remove distracting elements from a photograph through something called cloning. So this takes me a couple of hours to do, but here I found the entire right half of the background distracting, so I completely eliminated it. Okay. The third thing it allows you to do is compositing. So here you can see how I took three very ordinary looking photographs of pigeons flying over my terrace, and I was able to merge the birds from all three pictures and create this one final image which looks a lot more aesthetically pleasing and impressive. This image is also created using the similar compositing technique. So here actually the sky is from one image and the landscape was from another image. So I merged both of them seamlessly, and then I added in the 3D text later on. This is from Matheran in Maharashtra. Now coming to graphic design. So this image looks pretty similar to the previous one, but the only difference is this is entirely computer generated. It's not a photograph. And I'm sure you'll agree with me that you can't make these kind of images with Photoshop. So this was made using a small 5 MB program, free program called TerraGen. It allows you to generate landscapes and sceneries. And if landscapes and sceneries are not your cup of tea, you can also render an alien planet like Mars. So whatever you feel like. Now another tool apart from Photoshop is 3D software. So typically 3D software is used by animators, but you can also use it to create still images like this one. So this is something I made using 3D Studio Max. It took me around 3 hours to make this, and it's supposed to be, a bunch of mutated RBC cells floating around in blood. I have no idea why I made this. I made it around 8 years back. Okay, I just thought it makes a good example. This was made using another free tool called Apophysis. It's a fractal generator, and it's just a 1.5 MB file, but it allows you to create these very unique patterns which you can't generate using tools like Photoshop. Now next, coming to drawing. This is one area where software has been of a tremendous help to me. I was always pretty good at sketching with a pencil, but I could never color my drawings. Okay, I would always mess it up. So now with software, I can color in my drawings digitally, and I never have to worry about going wrong because you always have the undo option. So this is one of my recent drawings of Natalie Portman from the movie Black Swan. This took me around 6 hours to make this entire piece. 3 hours for the drawing and 3 hours for all the other digital elements. But I think the end result is quite worth the effort. Now, this is animation. So a couple of years back, I had this idea of taking 500 to 1000 still images and stitching it together in Movie Maker to create these short 2-minute animated clips. And I used toys lying around my home, which I used to play with as a kid. And in the next image, you'll see some behind the scenes shots. So you can see how a pen stand becomes a surveillance station, how colored pieces of cloth over emergency lamps are used for colored lighting, how lamps inside big blue buckets on my table are used to create these nice sci-fi looking blue backgrounds, right? Now, when you're making videos, it's also useful to know a music tool like Fruity Loops or Cubase, so that you can make your own music. Otherwise, you'll end up, using tracks which are later on blocked by YouTube because they are copyrighted, right? So it's very useful to know. Now, coming to another, it's not an art form, but it's a creative area, game design. So in the past, you had to be a programmer to make games, but today that's not so. You can make games without writing a single line of code, right? So these were a bunch of levels I made for the game Doom. I don't know how many of you have heard of it. It's from 1993. This is the level editor for the game. This level took me around, I made it over a span of 5 years, but it actually doesn't take that long at all. I was just lazy. But all this was done using a graphical editor. So I never wrote any line of code. So with all these examples, like I just wanted to highlight, how useful it is for creative people to learn software. And today there's no reason not to learn them because knowledge and information is so easily accessible. You can just go to Google and search for anything that you want and you're good to go, right? And another very important reason why I think that creative people should become technical too is so that you don't have to depend on technical people to execute your ideas. You can do it yourself. Like the famous director of the Spy Kids movies, Robert Rodriguez, he said in his 10-minute film school, if you're both creative and technical, then you're literally unstoppable. Thank you very much.